Good morning. Good morning. What's up, folks? How's everybody doing this morning? Oh, well, let me turn that off. There we go. Now that I'm off mute. Let's try that again. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. JTW here with another Xtrades FOMO live stream. Going to do our usual routine. Going to take a look at the markets. Going to do some trade plan reviews and recaps on some existing trade plans we've got outstanding. And then, of course, we will be working on some new trade plans live together here this morning before the market opens. So this is your opportunity to spend some time learning with me, reviewing with me, and getting ready to go out there and make some more money today. So with that being said, I hope everybody is doing well. Let me get over to my screen here. Screen sharing's going there, screen sharing there. Audio's good across the board, it looks like. All right, so with that, let's get into it. If you guys have any issues seeing, hearing, any of that kind of stuff, my screen or my audio, just let me know. I'm kind of playing around with some new audio tools this morning that hopefully will just enhance the overall experience for folks. All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. Here we are looking at ES this morning. This is S&P futures. This is a great way. What's up, Unknown Reviews? Good morning. Hope you're doing well. So we're taking a look at ES here this morning. We've clearly been on a massive run since the election results were finalized last week. And we have seen SPY and really kind of most of the market just kind of marching to the upside. Same thing with crypto. Crypto's absolutely exploding right now. This is all good stuff. Let's make hay while the sun shines, right? Looking at ES, we had this 60.17 to 60.22 range on watch for quite a while. We finally broke through that. We got up, we printed this new all-time high here on Wolf. Yeah, we can take a look at that. Why do I feel like I've looked at Wolf before? I'm not going to remember the company name off the top of my head, but that ticker doesn't sound totally unfamiliar to me. Let me make sure give me one sec. Let me make sure my sound is good on Discord. Yeah, it looks like it's picking up fine. I don't know why my little activity, there it is. My little activity indicator wasn't kind of popping up there, so I just wanted to make sure it was picking up. Okay, yeah, okay, I think I know which one you're talking about now. I know, we'll take a look at that for sure. So what are we looking at here on ES futures? We've got things, like I said, marching to the upside. We did just put in what looks to me to be a new 4-hour supply zone. What's up, Navy Plum? Good morning. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Put in this new 4-hour supply zone, of course, a couple of demand zones below. So we're kind of, I think, building an interesting area where we could base and consolidate a little while before we decide if we need a bigger pullback or we decide to push for new all-time highs over the 60.5325 level. So kind of looking at things in general, let's take a look at the hourly real quick. Sorry, I've been kind of focused on the 4-hour bigger picture this morning. So from an hourly standpoint, certainly if we can break back over this 60.3250, I see a good case for us to probably retest that all-time high, at least challenge it, and potentially try to break through. But that 60.3250 seems to be a recently developed support and resistance level that I'm kind of currently watching, and I would say watching with an appropriate amount of skepticism, I guess is what I would say, because it's fairly new. We're still, I would say, in a phase of price discovery here. But from the data that we've got, it looks like it's a pretty decent support and resistance level. So again, if we can break over that, I wouldn't be surprised to see us take a crack at the current all-time highs and maybe even go for this last fib extension up there at 60.6375 to put in a new all-time high potentially at that level. But we'll keep all this on watch. I probably am not far off from needing to do some more fib extensions, and I think this pullback that we've seen overnight is it's probably given me enough of a rejection signal that we could go ahead and map out another set of Fibonacci extensions to try to figure out, you know, where will our future resistances be that we haven't even tested yet. So anyway, things seem to be looking very strong, healthy overall with the markets, again, grinding to the upside. So just keep that 60-32 level on watch. I think it's very much buy the dip mode right now. I can also see or probably make a case for there being another potential level kind of near that cluster of fib extensions that we were eyeballing as we went into the elections last week, right around 60-13. I think that looks like it could be a pretty good buy the dip level as long as that holds. You could hold that all the way down to 59.90, I would say, and then look for bounces out of that range, potentially pushing for more upside. So just some quick thoughts on the market in general. Let's get to some trade plan reviews, and then let's get to work on these new trade plans. Go ahead, start dropping those ticker requests in the chats if you haven't already, like Unknown Reviews, wanting to take a look at Wolf this morning. ABMB, we did this one last Thursday, so I should probably actually pull this back a little bit further to make it look more accurate. So we did this one pre-market. They reported earnings after hours. It was marching up, broke over our call entry, gave us PT1 and then some. Then the earnings report happened. Clearly initially received quite positively. I'm not sure what they said on that conference call to warrant this pullback and move lower. But then we saw on Friday, confirmed break below, but then we got our back test right there. That's your entry opportunity. We talk about these back tests all the time, especially once things have kind of fully flipped bullet or bearish. I'm sorry. The way you would typically play support for bounces, just play resistance for rejections. I know that sometimes throws people off because they're used to kind of watching for upside, but you know, start to create that ability to sort of flip the chart in your brain and say, okay, well, what was support and was a key level could now and should now be resistance, and use those opportunities to get in. But overall played out for PT1 plus on that rejection, and looks to be kind of playing out another potential move down toward PT1 again here pre-market. So ABMB, kind of a wild shift, especially off that earnings report after hitting some upside targets, hitting some downside targets. So yeah, ABMB kind of all over the map there. Qualcomm, this one was another one that we did last Thursday, kind of very similar to setup to what we just talked about a moment ago, right? We get our confirmed break below, or at least a candle close below. We get our nice back test rejection opportunity that played out for PT1 within that trading day, and then on into PT2 for the following trading day, actually PT2 plus, and then on down to PT3. So we've hit all of our downside targets on Qualcomm. Congrats if you followed this one. This was another one that we had just reported earnings right before we did this plan Thursday morning, but then we got you know, candle to open the day here, second candle of the day closing below that put entry level, and then third candle of the day there at 10:15, giving us, or sorry, the 10 to 10:15 candle, giving us that back test rejection and taking things on further to the downside. So great setup there on Qualcomm. Make sure that you're looking for those back test entries that can really make sure that you're maximizing the entire reward zone when you're kind of considering your risk reward analysis. So making sure those entries are solid and as close to the entry as possible, I think is always important. Tesla, yeah, sure, we could take a look at Tesla, the unstoppable behemoth Tesla that has just been on an absolute tear for sure. We'll take a look at that. ASTS, Space Mobile. This one we did as a member selected trade plan over the weekend. So we did this one Sunday. Yesterday was our first trading day with it kind of being in effect. Finally gave us the break above our call entry, going right into the close there. We're coming in for a back test and bouncing so far, so good signs for this one to potentially continue on up to PT1. Also noticed on the hourly, we did get things flipping over to the bullish side, but we did catch that 333 SMA right near that weekly level. So a little bit of a confluence rejection there, but we've got confluence of support below, things rolling over momentum wise to the bullish side. So this one, again, I would be expecting to see probably PT1 today, and possibly even more depending on what the market as a whole starts doing. Also has earnings coming up on Thursday, so keep that in mind as you consider getting into some swing positions. If you're not willing to swing through earnings, you have a limited window of time to execute your trades on AST Space Mobile. SMCI chip maker, this one was another member selected trade plan. I think we've done several trade plans on SMCI recently. Actually, it's been quite popular since it did its split and has kind of pulled back significantly. People remembering the crazy run it went on for a little while there and looking for that to potentially repeat itself. Well, so far things are looking a bit bearish. Again, we were looking for puts on a break below 2380. We were actually pretty much all the way down to PT1 by the time we opened the trade. Let me go into a smaller time frame here. All the way down to PT1 by the time we opened into the trading day yesterday. We bounced off of that PT1 expected support there, so not too much of a surprise, and seems like we're back testing a pretty decent confluence of resistance here. So SMCI could be a good one to keep an eye on for continuation to the downside, especially if it continues to test and reject that 2380 level. We've got confluences picking up there with the 333 coming down, being quite close to that top of that Neptune bear flag and that 2380, what is now resistance level. So keeping an eye on that, looking for the rest of those downside targets here on SMCI. But overall, the plan is played out, but it hasn't been, I would say, an actionable plan yet, unless you decided to take a shot at swinging puts as we went for that back test rejection there going into the close yesterday. And then last but not least, Boeing kept trying, but just couldn't push through yesterday. Again, this was one that we did as a member selected trade plan over the weekend. Trade plans were posted Sunday evening in the options watch list. And this one, you can see big resistance in this confluence area up here. Again, key selling pressure on Neptune. SMAs both sitting right there, 200s crossing below the 333, so that's given things a bearish signal there, and pretty clean resistance going into the open and beginning of the trading day that pushed it down. And now it seems like we're flipping that 148.97 level from what was support there yesterday to potentially looking like resistance here pre-market. So this may be looking for more downside and another test of 144.23. That's our entry level for puts, but I also don't necessarily hate the idea of shorting this below 148.97 for a target down at 144.23. And I'd have my stop loss here at the hourly 200 SMA, at least to start off with, and see how things play out. If you wanted to take a shot at that, just a quick idea as I'm kind of looking at the chart here. But overall, Boeing has been, if we're waiting for real confirmation, a no trade, but seems to be showing signs that it wants to break down and push lower. All right, so with that being said, let's get to some of these new ticker requests this morning. Let's get to some trade planning. Hope everybody's following along. If you guys have any questions or any trade plans you want me to take a look at, like Jax just did with MSTR, please feel free to drop those in the chats. I will take a look at as many of these as I can, while also trying to take care of whoever chimed in first. So let's go. Wolf, crypto ticker. I'm guessing they're a crypto miner. Yeah, Bitcoin mining. Interesting. Fully integrated, environmentally clean. Powered by nuclear. Very interesting. I actually like this. What's their volume like? I don't think I have looked at this one actually before. I think I'm confusing it with something else. I forget what else. Oh, earnings today. Crypto definitely on a bit of a pullback from the euphoria, but that's not shocking. It's been on a crazy run. This thing has great volume too. And it's obviously, and not surprisingly, up over the 30-day average over the last several days. But again, none of that's too surprising. I like the idea, though, of this nuclear as clean as possible powered crypto mining. I think that's kind of one of the big knocks against mining crypto is the power consumption and all that sort of stuff. Same thing with AI. So, you know, a lot of people have been talking about, and we've even seen who is it? I know Amazon, and I think Meta, Facebook. It's kind of like I don't ever want to call Facebook Meta, and I'll never want to call Twitter X. Call me old school. But I think aren't Facebook and Amazon both talking about investing in a manufacturing of like portable nuclear generators or something like that? So anyway, nuclear, uranium, that kind of stuff going to be a very interesting sector to watch. It's one that I think's been of high interest as of late. I think more and more people are getting over the the Chernobyl effect of, you know, all nuclear is evil. It's actually a really, really great way to generate electricity, and do it with little to no environmental impact until you have to deal with the nuclear waste disposal. But guess what? Elon's building rockets that can go to space and get caught on return and reused. So why wouldn't we just turn that into the nuclear waste management company? I digress. That's getting into some hypotheticals, but this is an interesting one. So let's take a look at it. Let me actually zoom out real quick. Sorry, I'm kind of starting on small time frames when it shouldn't be. Interesting potential doji forming up here so far. I mean, it's early into the week, and this candle has a few days before it closes, but so far it's looking like a pretty clear reversal doji, to be perfectly honest, but we'll see. The euphoria may be wearing off a little bit on crypto. But that's, again, that's just going to present, I think, what will likely be buy the dip opportunities. All right, let's get to it. This might actually be a weekly level if we just make some small adjustment to it. Great, come on, move. There we go. It's close enough. Same thing with this level. I think it needs to be just a little bit higher. Right there. That actually looks pretty decent on the weekly as well. I already know it looks good on the hourly. Does this, anything in here help us at all? Yes, right there. I think we've got a level, actually a little bit higher. It's right about there. Yep. Okay, and let's see if this gives us something on the weekly. Yeah, right about here. All right, I think we're good on weekly levels, so let's take a look at this daily chart as we go through this wolf trade plan. I also like that it's pretty low cost per share, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But this one could be a great opportunity to play this one with shares, especially with the volatility on crypto. I mean, you can get options like returns without having to take the options risk with some of these crypto related tickers where you can scoop up, you know, 1,000 or so shares. Or at least pick up a few hundred and, you know, worst case, sell some covered call contracts. But this also could be a good one for cash secured puts. I'd be very interested to see what the IV looks like on it. Also going into earnings would definitely be a high risk premium collection play. When I say high risk of getting assigned. But that may not be the worst thing in the world if it does see a pullback on earnings. That would be worth at least a small position, I would say. That one I probably wouldn't go as big, maybe just sell like 3 cash secured puts. We'll take a look, or I'll take a look at it kind of closer to market open, and if I like how the options chain looks and I like our potential starting net cost per share, I'll put out an alert for it. I like to alert those wheel trades. I think that makes things a little bit easier for folks on that side of things, and they're a little less plan driven, so it's a little easier. Not easier. What's the right word? What's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit. It just makes more sense, I guess. I can't really lay it out in a plan and say, here it goes, just execute. With wheel trades, it's a little bit more just trying to find general right entries and finding things that give you good net cost per share starting off if you do get assigned, and just having some strategy. I mean, it's a little bit plan driven, trying to wait for resistances to hit before we sell those covered calls, but I mean, overall it's very kind of a numbers game, more so than a technical analysis game, I'd say. All right, so let's take a look at Wolf. I think we're pretty much in the neck of the woods where we're ready to start. These are some interesting consolidation areas, this one especially. Let me just take a look at this real quick. But I think we're ready to start locking this into being an actual trade plan, but I just want to take a look at this one level real quick. Historically, if we can get to any historical price action anytime soon, here we go. Yeah, there's something right around there. It's right about, it's probably just a tad higher. Kind of stacks up right against that daily level, but there's something there that I want to just be mindful of. Yeah, pretty close to that. Okay, so wolf, the big bad wolf. $903, is that a good entry is the question. Have to go back in time a little bit here. Let's go to 4 hour, that'll make it quicker. Let's see. What is this? This is April 5th of 22. All right, let's take a look at this. What's happening over this 903 level? Get some wicks, some liquidity grabs. But I think there's a chance this does try to make a decent little push over 903. 968 seems like a reasonable target, but it could be a little bit higher. Like around 1007. Sorry, 968, not 963. I read that out of the corner of my eye, out of my peripherals. These little wick rejections, though. Whoa, what the hell just happened? How did I get all the way back to June of 21? Okay. Well, that's probably the last area where we've got price action through here, so I'm not against that. All right. Yeah, I'm liking that 1007, or is it a little bit lower? Was my question. Could also see it being, yeah, right about there. Call it 998. I think that's a good first price target. Second target, right around this 1089. Then I'll be surprised if we're not shooting for 1195 final target. We don't even have any other. Up that color. We don't even have any other price data to use there. So yeah, that's right about pretty close to where we gapped up. Also, it'll be an interesting level to keep on watch. Bigger picture. But yeah, I like this third target at 11.95. So kind of like $1 moves starting at 968-ish. All right, so 903, 839. That's definitely looking good for a stop loss average down off that weekly level. Downside gets interesting below 771. That's why I added that line in there earlier. Off that hourly chart, I think we could be in for a gap fill. There's a little bit of a gap left to fill down here to 670. Could be just a tad higher though. Let's go slightly more conservative. Let's kind of split the difference here. Shoot for 675 on that break below 771, then pretty clearly down here to 592, that daily level, and then I think it kind of tightens up down to 538, this next weekly level. All right, so sorry that maybe I got lost in the sauce there for a second, but wanted to really concentrate on that price action for a minute, because this one, I think volume has probably only recently, like over the last several months, picked up. Maybe even over the last little over a year. I could be wrong about that, but that's just kind of what it's looking like based on how some of the candles were forming. And so that can make things a little trickier when it comes to reading this price action. But yeah, also lots of agreement from a Neptune perspective on all these levels. I was catching that as we were going through it. So here is the Wolf live stream plan. And let's get over to the watch lists. All right, so let's talk through this real quick. You guys mark these levels, set your alerts, follow along as we go through it. What are we looking for on Wolf? We're looking for a break over 903. That should give us targets at 998, 1089, and 1195, with a stop loss average down at 839. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 771. That should give us targets at 675, 592, and 538, with a shared stop loss average down with that upside trade plan there at 839. Those are your Wolf trade plans. Go get them. All right. Lunar could be, yeah, Lunar's been absolutely crushing. All right, we've had a number of requests for Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Silver Tune. I also saw Tesla over here. Jax asked for it. Tesla, I have a feeling these are old pre-split support and resistance levels, right? No. Tesla has actually been higher. It's just new 52-week highs. Okay. But that's, yeah, we still have some, yeah, I need to go back and kind of really strongly consider revisiting all of my Tesla levels. I mean, I've redone them some, but clearly it's getting, chart's getting a little noisy. That's the other issue. All right, so let's get everything kind of tightened up here. Yeah, that's picking up. I think I just need that. All right. Clearly, that supply zone's gone. All right. Did just finish filling this gap, and that's a really, really interesting bounce and rejection right off that exact same level between Friday and pre-market this morning. Just want to check that level real quick. See if it's something to it or if that's just a coincidence. Yeah. See that happen multiple times and lots of good resistance or support on that level. Pretty clean. Yeah, there's something sitting right there at 328.61 that we're catching this morning pre-market. The other thing we need to take a look at, I'm kind of intrigued by this little area up here. So let's take a look at that. All right, so let's take this back. I'm going to see what happens above. We clear through all of those resistances. What happens? What gets going above that? Or do we have potential earlier entry in there? This is an interesting double top. We're going to want to take a look at. I mean, I am liking the idea of, oh, we're way down. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my bearings on, should we be using this range as a price target or as an entry? I hesitate a little bit to want to use it as a price target just because we're already seeing a pretty decent rejection. But I think there is, yeah, I think there's a window of opportunity that opens up above 346.10. I might be dead wrong about this, but this anymore. This is my first price target up there at 370.20. Actually, I think we could push for that. Let's take a look at this pre-market action on a smaller time frame. Yeah, that's also where we're rejecting pre-market. I'm going to go one level closer, actually. 363.68, first target. Gives us a right at about a 1-to-1 risk-reward setup, but I like that. 328.61 as a stop loss. So over 383.75. I think really probably the more interesting opportunity is going to be catching some downside, but Tesla's also very strong right now. So let's go. Give me some price action up above 383.75, please. Come on. Here we go. So that's our second price target rejection. Third target, does it sit up here somewhere? A little bit of a fake out above an existing resistance, maybe? Also have this gap levels. If this gap, which actually, I don't think, oh no, it may have been filled. Take that back. That's probably pretty close to having filled that. Then there's this, actually I see it, it's right here. Sorry, sometimes it takes a sec. Yeah, it is right off that rejection for PT3. All right, so I like that for the upside trade plan. Downside, this is where things get interesting, I believe. It's going to be an interesting level to watch right here. Keep an eye on it. Probably winds up being a price target, I'm thinking, but we'll see in a moment. Yeah, I think we're waiting for a break this weekly level. They're at 313.04, although Tesla is way higher right now. It just moves fast, though. I don't want to get us into something, especially something that's showing a lot of strength prematurely. Yeah, I do kind of like that setup, though. It's going to be a little bit of a patience game. Could also be, although, again, I kind of like, or liked, a break below this 319.68. Could we get in sooner? Sorry, I know I'm doing a lot of talking out loud at the moment, but I'm processing this. I just want to see if there is a potential earlier entry. I mean, those key rejections keep coming off that weekly level. But there are some pretty important support touches right up here. Pretty good rejection kept things moving lower there. Let's take a look at this level right here. This is where I think it's going to be, or close to it. Yeah, it's pretty close to it. I think this gives us a little more confirmation. All right, we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to go a little bit earlier. We're going to keep our stop where it's at. We're going to take this out of the equation. Although one thing I will say about this level right here at 313.04, could be a good idea to start an entry on a break below 319.47. Like if you normally buy 3 contracts, for example, go with like 1 or 2 and then add 1 or 2 on a confirmed break below 313.04. I think that's when the confirmation gets a little better. But I think there's an opportunity about $6 earlier, and that's a decent chunk of change on Tesla, especially in the world of options. Question is, do we need to shoot any higher? I'm kind of wondering if we go with 299, call it 300 flat for a first price target. Yeah, I could definitely make a case for that right here. Call it 299.50. Could go down to 296, but I want to take profits a little earlier with that entry being a little early. Second target below that, though, I think we're probably looking at either this 285 or 289 level. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Let's see where that looks like on this move up. That's the first target set. Yeah, I'll shoot one closer. I'm torn between the two. Still a nice second price target. Lots of meat on that bone. Third target, I think, takes us back down into this range. I'm going to, again, go slightly more conservative on the price target. So this is kind of a wild looking chart. So let's do this. Let's take our key levels. Let's slap those. I put this, I'm going to include that level, even though it's not really a price target or an entry. I think it's going to be a good one to keep in mind. We talked about it a little bit, but let's go. Throw this on this recap chart. Make these for now. All right, so this is what Be a little bit easier to see the Tesla trade plan looks like. Again, remember that this would be your safer, more confirmed entry, but I think you can start a position at 319.47 on a confirmed break below that, I should say. So this is what the Tesla live stream plans look like. And last but not least, in the options watch list. So what are we looking for here on Tesla? We're looking for a break back above 346.10. That should give us targets at 363.68, 383.75, and 402.92, with a stop loss average down at 328.61. We've got a little bit of a tighter scenario to the downside. We're looking for a break below 319.47. Again, remember, that's probably a potentially early entry, good place to start your position, and then average up and add into that position below 313.04. Below that, I think we do see a decent move down to 299.46, 289.14, and then finally 273.73 with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 328.61. Those are your Tesla upside and downside plans. Go get them. All right, what else do we have? Tesla, Nvidia, MSTR. Let's take a look. Let's get over to the chart that has my levels on it. Nvidia is still playing through these fib extensions and pretty nicely still as well, if I do say so myself. Oh, 912. Yikes. Let me take a quick look. Maybe we can let's do a quick. Well, this is totally breakout mode. All right, let's go with Nvidia. We'll do a real quick plan on this. Also, some levels have developed in here that I don't have yet, like this guy. All right, so for Nvidia, could be wrong about this. It could be 140.43, but I think we've got a real shot at 139.46 for a first downside target. Second target right around that 136.55. This was I don't know what this was actually. It looked like it was a key level from a previous plan, but I don't think it was actually. Wound up with a solid line by accident, maybe. Third price target is, though, right about here. All right, so it's your downside trade plan upside. This is all-time highs. Very close to that fib extension. But I think we've seen, let's do this. We might have an opportunity to do a quick set, new fib extensions here. It's pretty close. That's an after hours candle. Maybe take that with a grain of salt. Everything else has looked pretty good off of that. So let's take a shot. That's your all-time high. Probably, yeah, sets up right about here. Set, close. Let me mark that off. Sorry, I'm trying to maybe dial this in a little too much, but accuracy is key. Come on, move for me. Really, I mean, yeah. Right about there. That puts us almost dead on with a confluence there at that stop loss average down. Did I still wind up with that? Sorry, I did wind up with that a little bit too high. Or did I move it at the last second? Yeah, it is a slightly different level. Yep, okay. So, let's see. New set of fib extensions here. All right. So where does that put us for an upside trade plan is the question. I think we can look to take an entry here. Obviously, break of current all-time highs. Projected resistance 1 at 152.65. Next at 156.76. And then on up to 159.71. Stop loss average down. Probably sitting right near this fib extension. Let's take a look at this on the hourly. Yeah, this is probably sitting right there. I think that makes for a decent stop loss average down. All right, wow, we were able to actually do full trade plans for both sides. Let's get that out of the way. All right, cool. Let's hide this. Don't need it anymore. Let's go. Also, nice Neptune confluence there at our call entry, so adding to the case that we've got things set up correctly here. That's not what it looked like on the time frame we were charting on. All right, cool, perfect. Let's go. Oops, copy link. Last but not least, your NVIDIA live stream plans, folks. Let's get this out, and then I gotta hustle over and get the daily SPY plan done and post it in the options watch list. So what are we looking for here on NVIDIA? We are looking for a break above 149.98, call it 150, for targets at new all-time high levels at 152.65, 156.76, and 159.71 with a stop loss average down at 149.98. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 143.33 with targets at 139.46, 136.55, and 134.90 with a stop loss average down at 146.31. Those are your NVIDIA trade plans. This is your Xtrades FOMO live stream. I want to thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I do appreciate it. We'll be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, as we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, keep your wins big, keep your losses small, go out there, secure the bag, get some green. I will see you all in the Xtrades Discord throughout the day today. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I hope you'll come back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, both on our Discord and on YouTube. With that, y'all take care. Have a great day. I will see you here Thursday. Talk to you soon.